Hey guys, it's Joe B. I got a new phone, so I shouldn't have any microphone problems. I wanted to go over the installation of the passenger quarter window, and first I would do a quick inventory about what we got. New weather strip, the window itself. I already took the bracket, the piece off the old window, and put everything onto the new glass with the locking piece here, the locking bracket. I've got my lower section with the 7/16 bolts in it. I've got my upper section that goes into the top with the 2 Phillips screws in it. I've got my 3 speed nuts that go onto the weather strip. I've got the little Phillips screwdriver, the Phillips screw that goes into the one side of the weather strip. We'll go over that in a second. I've got the 7/16 ratchet, the 1132 ratchet for the speed nut, and I've got my 12 Phillips self-tapping screws for the trim. So step one, once everything has been cleaned up and all ready for new installation, you got to get your weather strip trim back in. That's where the 12 speed nuts go. So here they are, 1, 2, 3. The holes are all along the way. They got the little tabs. You just slide it back in. I put a bead of silicone all along here, and then it was like a 2-man job to hold it up and then use the cordless to buzz it up in there. Don't forget these 2 little pieces here that hold the window. There's 1 and there's 2. Just put those right back in. They actually go and slide up under one of the screws, so that's good. With that in place, the next step is the weather stripping. You get your weather stripping all set to go. You see your 3 studs here. 1, 2, 3. Those are going to line up with the 3 holes here. 1, 2, and 3. With those through there, then you're going to put your 1132 speed nuts in on the back panel. That's how you access it, and then tighten those up. Installation's pretty easy. You've got your, let's see here, show you the box. The 3M weather stripping gasket adhesive. This box should be good for the whole car. So just take a little bead all along here, all along here. You might want to go over it with a damp cloth first to get any dust off. Do a little bead all along here. 30 seconds later, it's ready. Pretty much the time it takes for you to get everything in position to start sticking it up. So put your 3 studs in here, put it all in. It should tuck right nice and neatly up into your weather strip track. You've got the 1 hole on the end of the weather strip. This one right here is going to line up with this hole and this Phillips screw. I left it in there so I wouldn't lose it, but that's where it lines up. And then there's 1 more Phillips screw right here. You can't see it because it's dark, but it's there and it's pretty obvious. Just leave the screw in there until you're ready to use it. That's the weather strip in. Then the window is next. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my top bracket here. It's got the 2 Phillips screws. I'm going to take those 2 screws out, separate these 2 pieces. And you'll see that there's a long hole right here. This is going to slide right up into the long hole all the way back, and it's going to line up with these 2 holes. There are a couple of oval holes right here. You can see it better than I can. 1, 2. With those holes showing, you're going to put this bottom metal bracket piece back on, stick your 2 Phillips screws in there, tighten them up just a little bit, but you're going to leave it jiggly, like loose, just hanging there. The next step, get your bottom bracket with the 7/16 bolts. Take your 7/16 bolts out. Maybe put just a little dab of grease into that hole right there with a Q-tip or something. And then these 2 bolts, see, 1, 2, 7/16, are going to line up with these 2 holes. 1, 2, these 2 holes right here. See how that lines up? This is going to be positioned right here. Make sure that that Phillips screw is loose so that you can actually slide the piece in, but leave it jiggly. Leave it so it's got some play, some room. Next step, make sure your plastic sheath is back on the bottom. Put a little bit of grease on here. Pick up the whole window. Have your little 2 Phillips screws ready on your bracket. FYI, the pointy part is the bottom. See that? This is how it's supposed to install. This is locked. When you push it like this, then it's going to be open. The window can come out. Push it back down, it slides back into this groove right here, locked. So imagine that when we go look at the car. So what we're going to do is we're going to carry the whole window. You're going to set the bottom piece that's been a little bit greased right into the slot right down here. Finagle the upper piece. There's a little groove. I don't think I showed you the groove. Let's show it. It's right on the top of the window. You've probably seen it. There it is. That little hole is going to go into the top bracket. That is also still a little bit loose. And with your windows set and in, you're then going to screw in 1, 2, the Phillips screws that are on the latch that holds it in. Those you can screw tight. With your window in, tighten up these 2 Phillips screws, tighten up your 7/16, and then you've got that little Phillips screw sticking out in the bracket here. Tighten it up just enough so that the window has got some tensile strength to it and stays closed. That's going to be the passenger window. Those are the steps I'm going to follow this weekend in order to get this thing back in, and then we're going to be all set. This is Joe B with the Mach 1. If this video helped you out, please like and subscribe. It would help me out, and we'll see you soon. Thanks a lot.